wonderful, but we want you to always be exposed to different perspectives, ideas, different ways of looking at things, different experiences, stories, testimonies of people. So that's why the guest speakers are so important, so that we are, in a sense, teaching the class, not one person teaching. In a sense, maybe there are, 10 different people teaching the class. So thank you so much, Justin, for being here. So Justin Rundle, is that how you're? Okay. Justin is a lawyer by training, and he practices law. And I think you are the president of Rundle Law, right? And you also are a partner in a real estate firm. So.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm an attorney, and I'm mainly focused on real estate development. And my specialty is doing environmentally focused development, environmentally focused building.
Yes. So he's also the president of ECO. Remember, we had Nani, where are you? So we had Nani, who is the director of ECO, and Justin is the founder of ECO. We're going to talk maybe a little bit about ECO today, but we already talked about ECO quite a bit. So I'm so glad that Justin is here so that we can talk about a few important topics. Number one, I always have students in my classroom who are interested in going to law school. Do we have anybody here today? Just raise your hands fully if you are planning to go to law school. So we have 7, maybe more than 7 people. Okay. So when we're done with you, maybe we can send them anybody who wants to just talk to you for anything that they want to ask you a question on. So we can do that. And so that's one reason why I'm so glad that he's here, so that we can ask him some questions around his practice. And also, he is obviously in real estate, so that means you're a businessman. So you're a lawyer, businessman, and you're president of an environmental organization. So that makes you a philanthropist, businessman, and a lawyer. Can we ask how old you are?
I was
in his 30s.
Yes.
Can he go ahead and introduce yourself and who you
I
are?
will. Yes. She's wonderful. Round of applause for her. So I'm going to give the mic so that he can introduce himself, and then I'm going to start the Q&A. Well, you're good.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. So born and raised in Miami. Went to science school called Mass Academy on Key Biscayne. And when I was there, they basically greenwashed me, to have a love for the environment and the mangroves. And here in South Florida, I think if you're from Miami, maybe you don't appreciate it as much as someone who moved here, because it really is beautiful. And the mangroves here and the intertidal zone that's here is very special. The Everglades and all that is very globally unique. And so from there, I was always a scientist. I wanted to be a doctor of some kind, a scientist of some kind. Went to University of Florida. Sorry, I don't, but...
That's okay, we don't
that's
take
okay,
it
you don't
personally.
judge that, right? So I went to University of Florida.
But Nadi was an honor student.
That's right.
So we still got half by you here.
For sure. I love that. You guys are the best.
We are your best.
So I went there. I still did science for a long time, and then decided that the career path in law was a little bit faster and got me where I wanted a little bit sooner. So I continued reading as a scientist, and I continued participating in the scientific community in several ways. But I had to pay the bills and take care of my family, and so law was a nice path to have, financial stability. Wasn't as rewarding, but then I made it work for me. So now I, come full circle, and I can use the law in the real estate world to make sure that those buildings are eco-friendly.
Oh wow! Oh, I never thought about that because you're doing the real estate and because you're interested, obviously, in protect the environment.
Yep.
So you're saying that it actually helps you with those real estate work that you do, and the fact that you're a lawyer, obviously. Are you a real estate lawyer right now?
Yeah. So
Okay,
I do basically real estate law, and there's a lot of aspects of that have to do with what you can use land for. Like for example, if someone had a gas station on a piece of land.
By the way, can everybody hear him even from the back? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
That you have to be able to beginning to get your expectations low, you know what I mean? And then you'll be pleasantly surprised when fun stuff happens. So anyway, I love the environment. I wanted to stay in science, and actually I was able to get some money from the law to become a pilot. And something I was always interested in was aviation. And I never had a family in aviation. I never had.
He's also a pilot, I think.
I am.
Yes.
I'm a pilot.
Pilot.
A flight instructor, commercial pilot. And for me,
That's why I asked your age, because I'm like, how come at your age,
Yeah.
like you're doing all of that already?
Yeah, I mean, time management is something that helped me a lot, and the ability to kind of, let's say you want to do 5 things. I don't just do them in sequential order. I do a little bit of each, and then come back, do a little bit of each.
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Sure, yeah.
That's not one of the questions,
Sure.
but that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to get better with time management? Raise your hand. Be
Super
bold.
important. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I can also get
Yeah.
better with time management.
Yeah.
What is it that you do with
Sure.
time management that actually works, that you think could work for us?
Okay. Easy.
Easy. Are you listening?
Easy. So at the beginning, when I walked in, I heard you talking about fitness a little bit, going to the gym and stuff like that. Okay.
I am sporting a little pudge, but I think that just makes it great.
So I think it might have been Abraham Lincoln that said if he had, this is paraphrasing, if he had an hour to chop down a tree, he would spend 45 minutes sharpening his axe, right? So if I have something that's hanging over my head, if I wake up and just start doing that thing, I might be in a negative mindset, I might be in a scarcity mindset, and kind of drudge along and do it at a slow pace, and you take a whole day to do it, you probably won't perform as well. But I don't know if there's any athletes in here. Any athletes?
Yes, raise your hand, please, athletes.
Yeah. So you can probably attest, when you're working out, not only do ideas come to you, but then after your workout, when you start your work, you work faster. You just do. So for time management, remember, your brain is in a human body. If you want your brain to work better, your body has to work better. So your diet, your sleep, your hydration. There are actually studies that show a PET scan of the brain of a body that's sitting versus a body that's standing. 10 minutes of standing and your brain looks like fireworks compared to that rest. Yeah.
Did you follow up with a profession? Like, so you're also a certified personal trainer, right?
Right, so...
Oh yeah, he's also a certified personal trainer.
Yes, ma'am.
So he's like 6 speakers in one person.
I've
Justin of all
It's
trades.
more often, so we
split
don't have
personality. Yeah. But I guess the relevance of time management to that is, like, feed your brain other topics as well, things that you're passionate about, and you'd be surprised how those habits transfer into stuff that maybe you're not as passionate about. Does that make any sense?
Yes. So you're saying, just to sum up so far, eat right.
Yeah,
That is fruits, vegetables, and other healthy foods.
100%.
100%. And then go to the gym or like be active.
I like to start the day with activity. Here's what happens. When humans wake up, you have a scarcity mindset. When's my next meal? Right? Am I going to get enough money today? You're in a mental space of, I don't have enough.
Right.
If the first thing you do is work out and be active a little bit, watch how that changes your perspective on the whole day.
Yeah, you're like, I can conquer the world.
You can conquer the world. Yep.
But round of applause just for that. Okay, so eat right, take care of your body. Remember that your brain is inside your body, so your body is to be taken care of. And in terms of time management, you're saying make sure that you work smart, not just obviously a lot, right?
100%.
So just work smart. Okay, well, to be honest with you, I mean, I have all these questions, but you're just very good at answering to create new questions. But okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So the first question I have for you, well, the sixth question I have for you is, how do you know, okay, do you feel deep down that you were actually called to practice law?
Well, my name is Justice, so my parents kind of set me up. My name is Justin, but named after Justice, right? My parents kind of set me up for that. I did try to avoid it. For those that aren't in law school, one thing that was cool is there's a lot of philosophy in law school, which I didn't expect. And that was pretty cool, actually. You know, how you look at the world, concepts of fairness, concepts of justice, those are actually pretty cool things to learn.
By the way, you're a very popular speaker. You know how I can tell?
How's that?
Because there's a little bit of a noise in the classroom. Yeah, that happens when people are like, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Right? So we're doing great. Okay, so your mom, what does your mom do?
Both my parents are lawyers. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then at law
That
school.
makes sense. We're set up for that.
Yeah.
But do you feel that, okay, so I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
After I became a professor, there was a period of my life, which was like 10 years, where I wasn't sure if I actually picked the right profession. Now, I love my students. I love teaching, and I love my students even more than I love teaching. That was always the case. I always, these people, they're like, I'm in love with them. They're just awesome. But I just wasn't sure if I still picked the same profession. And after, soul searching for 10 years, I came back to where I started. Can you imagine? And I realized, I kind of, in a sense, it feels like I didn't, but it felt like I kind of wasted the 10 years because the whole time I was thinking, well, I don't know if this is right for me, but I figured out later on I'm exactly doing what I'm told to do. So I have a feeling you might be in the same boat too.
Yeah, it's interesting you say it took 10 years for you to figure that out. I can relate to that, absolutely. For purposes of this class, I would say, okay, to earn money in the world, in society, you're probably going to be forced to fit into some kind of machine. No man is an island or woman. And that process of becoming a square is going to be uncomfortable and make you doubt what you're doing. Because you don't get to just do exactly what you want. You have to work with other people, right? Well, what I've found is eventually you do find your own way to be that thing. So you found your own way to be a professor. I found my own way to be a lawyer, right? And I think it just takes patience and trust the process that eventually you will get to that point.
All right. What was the secret of you getting into law school? How did you get in? What did you do that helped you get in successfully?
Okay, so back to the time management thing, right? Really, by focusing on discipline, giving myself rewards, like healthy rewards, right? So a cheat meal is a reward. Listening to music, spending time with friends, doing something that you enjoy, like playing an instrument or something like that, and give yourself rewards throughout the day for the work that you've done. Almost be like your own trainer in that sense. And if you just go through the motions, eventually you achieve the goal,
Okay, that's great. So what did he just say? Thank you. Bonus points near the attendance sheet. Both of you. Okay? So, so give yourself rewards, right? So that was a great one. So, and once you entered law school, how did you go through it successfully? What was the key success there?
I think you actually, at the beginning of the day, you talked about a concept of delayed gratification.
Yes.
So I have a degree in psychology as well, and very powerful studies in delayed gratification
Who is this person?
They show that it's a predictor for success in life. They put children in a room and they offer the kids 1 marshmallow now or 5 marshmallows in an hour. The kids that pick the marshmallow right away are much poorer performers at like 8 different metrics.
Oh, wow.
The ones that can wait for the 5 marshmallows end up being the most successful kids.
I have a feeling it would have been the same. It would be the same with the adults, right? So if they did the test with the adults, I guess that the adults who would pick the 1 marshmallow, maybe they would have picked something other than the marshmallow. Well, maybe they would have picked marshmallow, I don't know. But I have a feeling it would be a very similar result. Because a lot of people, they're not into the late gratification. They want to get things now. Like, I want to go out and have fun tonight, even though I missed the test. I didn't do my assignments, but I'm just going to go out and have fun. And then there's all kinds of things that happen from that, right?
Earlier we talked about a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. So that happens a lot in society with time. Everyone's telling you don't have a lot of time. Okay, you're all in your 20s. By the time you're 30, you have to be married. You have to have it all figured out. that couldn't be further from the truth. People are living to be 120, 150. You're
Yeah,
not.
but don't wait forever to get married, okay?
Right,
Don't do that, okay? You got children, okay? Who loves children? Raise your hand if you love, exactly. So, don't wait too.
Fair enough. I guess the relevance of me saying that is to not put too much pressure on yourself to get things done on someone else's schedule.
Yes.
Like I said, find your own way to be
Yes.
who you are in your profession.
Yes.
That's
Don't-
life.
Yeah, that's so good. Like, don't marry the wrong person
Yeah.
early because you feel a bad pressure. No, like, make sure you take your time, meet the right person, and make it up.
And let me tie that concept back to law school, right?
I'm all about getting married this half of my life.
Fair. Marriage is great institution.
You know, like,
Has-
are you right for one another? Make it happen.
So, but to tie that back into my performance in law school, I sacrificed other things in law school knowing I still had time for those things. So I wasn't under pressure to go to the bars afterwards with my friends because I knew I could do that later. And I only had 3 years in school that mattered versus a lifetime after to have fun. Yeah, that was it
And
all.
now you have your whole life where you
Do whatever I
can do law, you can do other things, you
Yeah.
know. You can go flying, right? And also your job, your profession allows you to do the things that you enjoy doing now, like being able to go out and have a meal or, you know.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay,
I
that's so great.
actually have a little follow-up to that. So the reason I became a pilot, when I went to law school, I moved back home with my parents, and I cleaned out the garage as like a gesture. Thank you for letting me stay here, but clean the garage. And I found a journal that I wrote when I was 8 years old, and it said, "Hi, my name is Justin, I'm 8. When I grow up, I want to be a pilot or a lawyer."
Wow. And now you're both.
And I found that journal entry, and I was like, damn, that's important. And I guess the takeaway from that is I found a way to honor like my 8-year-old self, my 9-year-old self, that had been waiting. That 9-year-old was waiting for those marshmallows.
Round of applause. Well, when I was little, all I thought was I'm going to be a teacher when I grow up. So they would ask me, you know. So it did happen. But now I'm thinking I should have written more things, you know, I just, you know.
I wanted to say, because this is all going back, this is the College of Business, and I think you're a really big entrepreneur. Before anything else, you've owned several businesses, including 2 nightclubs at one point. So I think it would be really... Yes.
I heard that before.
So Justin, of all trades, would you share how you're an entrepreneur and how the businesses that you own connect to the things that you learned in school, like psychology and law?
Yeah, so if you guys couldn't hear a question, Elise was asking about entrepreneurship, and this is school business. So when I was really young, I was actually a late bloomer, and I was a skinny kid, and I got bullied a lot, okay? And the way,
Who got bullied?
anybody else get bullied when they were a kid? High school?
I mean, like all of
No one else put their hand up. Yeah, I was badly bullied, yeah.
And one more.
Yeah. And so what I did was I hired my bullies to work for me, and we sold at the school. We sold shoes and hats and toys and shit like that. And anyway, and that was it. And actually, I'm still friends with a lot of them. Yeah, and that was my first business. And I saw the ability to like get yourself.
Oh, you paid them?
Yeah, I hired them. They got a commission off the shoes. We had like selling sneakers all over school. And then I got the school to participate. I went to the faculty, and I had the school let me sell in the cafeteria after school. That's for sure. That was my first business, and I learned the
That counts as a
entrepreneurship.
business. Don't
Yeah.
let other people tell you what to do. That counts.
Oh, it counts. My brother and I, we went to Costco and we bought like sodas and chips, and we would take coolers to the school and like tennis courts and sell. And we were like 10 years old, 11 years old.
So you guys are friends.
We did, yeah.
You take the bullies. That
Yep.
became friends.
Yep, exactly. But the relevance to that
Did you
is,
become lawyers, those bullies?
no, they peaked in high school. Yeah. They're good people now. But yeah. Some of them still call me and be like, hey, sorry about that. I'm like, don't worry, it's okay.
So you went from Costco to the nightclubs, and then what are the other businesses?
So, I mean, we're not promoting nightclubs.
No.
How did that happen? Just from a business standpoint.
Okay,
He
this
doesn't
is
do those things anymore.
this is a good business lesson. You have a question here? Yeah.
be in charge of a business or owning a business, you also have to have your channel. So do you think that you will be more time on your business or your professional?
Did everybody hear that question?
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay, she asked, she said, well, you're doing a lot of different things, right? Your main profession is being a lawyer, but you're also in business, you have different businesses. So she's asking, do you do all of them at the same time? Like, how do you do it? How do you do all?
In addition, my
question
goes because I am studying accounting and I'm starting my own practice. I haven't graduated yet. I'm graduating this semester. I'm starting my own practice. You know, and I'm applying for. I think thank you so much. I am studying accounting. This is my graduating semester. Finally, I am happy for that. Finally, and I started to work in the tax field last year, and now I have clients of my own that I am working on them now. For me, I work at a CPA firm, but I don't know when to transition to do my own thing or keep working for the other firm until I can finally feel that I can. Or how do you, and also at the same time, I am thinking of opening other businesses that have nothing to do with accounting mainly in the beauty section. But how do you do it? Like, you are a lawyer, that is your profession, and how do you manage your time to do the other businesses?
That's a great question, time management question. Do we have the ability to draw something?
Oh yeah.
That's a little pie chart.
Can you draw
On the whiteboards?
You know, we have this thing here. Is this for drawing? What is this? Isn't this drawing?
Looks like it. If not, then you do.
You can draw on the whiteboards right there.
So it has a, so you probably have a whiteboard. Can you draw on Word, or is it like drawing?
Yeah,
Dr. Armagan, do you have whiteboard markers? Because there's a whiteboard right there.
Oh yeah, there's a whiteboard. Hello, of course I have markers. I'm a professor. It would be pretty bad if I have no markers. Let me, okay, let's
Sorry, I'm very visual. I want to answer your question with like a diagram.
How did you do this?
Alright, don't worry about it. I'll just use one of these.
You'll have to draw really big.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
Or medium big. And then they can take a picture and draw it.
Can everybody kind of see that circle? All right, so what we think of like showing up and getting the job done, we think of like all this area being like your work, and then this being like, you know, your social time, your food, your events and things like that. But that is not how the brain works. And in fact, after like 90 minutes, you lose interest. In fact, even 30 minutes, some of you kind of lose interest. They say to make a sale, it's like 90 seconds. I think about like reels on Instagram, right? 90 seconds, that's how much attention you have.
Yeah.
So you really can't pay attention to something for 3/4 of your day. It's impossible. The 9-to-5 job, I think, is an antiquated, you know, it's a relic from a previous time. Even this like lecture format, right? It's not interactive, and that's no offense to school. We couldn't have, how many people are here?
280, I think.
Yeah, you can't have 200 people all walking around and crazy. You never get a message across.
We tried. It's
Right.
very messy.
It's too messy, right? But once you're your own, you know, your own trainer, your own boss, really, you could do your whole career here in just this quarter. I don't worry. I don't think this image is as powerful as I thought it was in my mind. You can get all your stuff done in this little segment, and you don't have to do it in a row. You can kind of do another thing. Make time for other stuff that you care about, and there's another study that shows our peripheral vision, right? So if you're walking in a park and the trees are going by your periphery, it actually activates other areas of your brain for creativity, for critical thinking, for problem solving. Sitting at a desk with no motion doesn't create those things. Walking actually helps your brain work better. So if you have another activity like walking your dog or going to the park or something like that, and then you'll find overlaps between what you're getting paid to do and what you love to do. For example, for aviation, I have to keep extremely detailed logs of my flights, and I use an Excel spreadsheet, right? Well, that same skill of logging all those flights and using that Excel spreadsheet, I can use Excel to keep track of my bills for my business, right? And there's like an overlap there. Or me playing instruments, right? I play the piano, I play the guitar. By learning that motor function of playing the piano, I can type faster, right? And then that other effect of keeping your interest, it'll be like a hand washing a hand. Does that answer your question?
Okay, then what you're saying is that there is a benefit from doing different activities rather than, okay, I'm only a lawyer, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm going to go practice law, go home, eat, and sleep.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that as we get involved in more activities, well, we're obviously using more parts of the brain,
Yeah.
right? And we're also learning from those experiences which feed into each other. And I guess that there's a point at which where we shouldn't take on more, right? So like, you're probably at the saturation point, I'm guessing.
So actually, I would argue that neuroplasticity, there's studies that show neuroplasticity is just like any other exercise, and that you can keep adding to it. And what happens truly, this is going to sound a little extreme, time will go slower for your brain. You will think faster.
Yes.
And we don't really know what human saturation looks like.
Also, our adaptation skills have to go up because we switch from, it takes mental effort to switch from one. Like, let's say you did some law work this morning, right? So then you have to switch to, okay, you got to come over here. Now it's an interview about different topics, so you have to switch.
Yeah.
So probably our adaptation gets better because we have to go through multiple activities.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And who knows? And then eventually you get better at it. And if you're really an entrepreneur and starting a business, Elon Musk talks about if you can't delegate and ultimately like have someone else do your work, what you have is a job. You just have a really expensive job for yourself. So eventually, even this quarter gets smaller. You make handbooks, you do training, you hire the right employees, but that takes even more time. I'm not even there yet. I need another 10 years before I can make that pie get smaller there.
I'm learning so much. Are you guys learning so much? And I'm like, I'm at my age, and I'm just learning this stuff, and I'm going, wow. That's okay. It's never too late, right?
Never too late.
Nani, one of our honor students, do you have a question?
Yes, I think it's really important to tie the arts into STEAM and they like explain that humanities thing. Like in science, we've been talking about science, technology, engineering, and math, but the humanities piece of it and the arts. And I really wanted you to talk a little bit about that. I think also to tie in the whole nightclub business thing was the purpose is, doesn't matter what industry you are, you have to be ethical and right in all of your business doings or you will fail at the end of the day. So that's a very difficult industry to function in, and it just forces you, the law piece, to be grounded. But just to bring it back to the arts piece of entertainment.
You guys don't know what STEAM is? You know what STEM is, right? Everyone knows STEM? Yeah. STEAM, they added like an A for arts. I love that they added an A. I wouldn't consider myself a traditional artist like with paint and stuff like that, but music is a huge outlet for me, and actually music has an amazing effect on the brain. There's people that lose the ability to speak, and they learn how to sing and then speak, which is crazy. But yeah, art, I don't know if that answers your question. Art, okay, I know what to say to that. Science itself just means knowledge. That's what it means, the word science. And when we try to understand the world around us, especially in the United States, it's a very Western idea of measurable things, black and white, zeros and ones. But the East, Asia, has had other philosophies forever. And a lot of those tend to work pretty well. And theirs are more based on art and nature. And what we found is it came full circle. An airplane is a perfect example. the biggest airplane in the world that can fly the farthest, they literally modeled a seabird. They took a seabird, they did a 3D mapping of that bird, and they built the airplane to look like the bird. You know, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. So that's art and nature are really tied into science.
Yes, and actually, we know that some of the most innovative ideas come from interdisciplinary work.
Absolutely.
Like when an artist works with an engineer,
100%.
you know, or a botanic person works with a mechanics person. So now they're trying to find out, okay, so when we send people to Mars or wherever they're going to go, like on the way there, we want to make sure that they eat, you know, vegetables.
Yeah.
So like, how are we going to create this machine that would, you know, water the vegetables, you know, with the least amount of water and everything else, so that, you know, when they're on their trip to Mars or wherever they're going, they can eat some vegetables in addition to the, you know, packaged foods, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's interdisciplinary. Okay, I'm learning so much.
So the creativity is the part of the arts, and I think people are like afraid to do arts if you're not an artist. So that's why I'm saying, you know, you can express yourself through journaling, through painting, through there's different ways.
So let's go through
That's
them.
it.
Okay, so that's a good question to ask. So to feel more joy and spread it, what are your recommendations? Let's listen.
To feel more joy and to spread it.
Yes.
Okay.
So like some of the things that you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Okay. I would say it starts from the inside, right? If you want to feel more joy, so it starts with your own life. Kind of goes back to the earlier stuff we talked about, your morning routine, waking up, working out, because that frames your whole world. So you're more likely to be a happy person, balances your hormones, get your energy levels up. And I guess try to find your own path, like your own purpose. And that's easier said than done, obviously. I think humans spend their entire life looking for self-actualization, like what they're supposed to do. But on that note, it's the journey. It's the journey towards that. You have to enjoy the journey, right? That would be my best advice on that day.
Yeah, so and also have different kinds of things that you're doing, you know,
Yeah.
use both parts of the brain.
100%.
Don't just be a business person, also do art or something artistic or music, playing the guitar, whatever it might be for you. Okay, so the other question that I had was, okay, so what are the top keys to success?
Okay, top keys to success. Define success in your mind, right? What does it look like for you? Vision and guts. Vision, picture it. What do you want? What does your final image look like for you? And it doesn't even have to be final. It could be 10 years from now, what do you want? And then recalibrate. 10 years after that, what do you want? That vision has to come first because, and this is gender-based quote, but I apologize, for a man who knows not his destination, no wind is favorable. Right? Pick your destination first. And it's not going to be a straight line. You're going to have to take little twists and turns. And that's why you're going to enjoy the journey, because it ain't going to go perfectly.
Yeah. And you know, and this is not to say that we should plan every little thing, but we should have a vision over our lives, like where you see yourself being or going, you know, in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like what is our vision for each of us? So that we have a direction that we're going towards. And then of course, you know, again, that doesn't mean we're trying to control every minute at once, right? Okay, do you want to,
Sit back down.
yeah, sit down.
This was a complete disappointment in how this came out. I've got a message across.
No, I thought it was good. Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like it, yes?
The live, I was a little bit late and I wanted to see it from the beginning. Are you gonna publish it? Okay.
So,
What's the name of the page?
okay, what are the values you live by that allow
You
you
can follow it now.
to be successful?
Okay, so I align very spiritually with Buddhism and done a lot of Buddhist practice and study, and there's some concepts from that helped me. The first one is called ahimsa, and it's do no harm, right? So even on Eco Planet Earth, the little message is leave a better world than we found, and whatever that is, right? To try to do no harm in your daily life.
Right, so like make things better.
Yeah, leave every situation better if you can. Yeah.
one thing that we grew up at the time was do not harm other people. Like, do not do anything, like anything that's out of integrity, or like never do anything that would harm another person. Now, I still practice that in the sense that, of course, I believe that we should never harm somebody else. So I definitely have that going on, and I also believe that, like you said, we should actually do things that make the world a better place. So yes, let's not harm others, and let's do the right things to do so that the world is a better place for me to stay. So I think what you said has a flavor.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I have two thoughts about that. One is all religions kind of have the same idea. So like Christianity, the golden rule, like do unto others what you want them to do. Judaism, same thing. Old Testament, that's a very common theme throughout the world, even on islands.
Or like peace, like a lot of religions and philosophies would say it's good to have peace. It's good to have full rights.
But I can tell there's a reluctance from some of you thinking, okay, for business, I gotta be dog-eat-dog, right? Or a bad B word, right? And take over and compete and all that. What's interesting about that, there's an area of science called game theory, okay? And it actually governs human behavior, like how masses think. So like a stadium, when humans trample each other, and they study why did that happen? How could humans trample another human, right? They study that. There's an experiment called the prisoner experiment, and it has an equation for each person, and if each of them cooperate, it's worth a certain value. If one of them is selfish and one of them is generous, it's worth a certain value, and if they're both selfish, it's worth a certain value. Anyway, they run this through a supercomputer, and what they found is nice guys don't finish last. That's a common misconception. The ones that both cooperate actually had a higher net result for the group and for the individual.
Okay, you all hear that? So in the prisoner's dilemma,
Prisoner's dilemma, exactly.
The winner, when both people cooperate, they get the best result.
Yep.
If one person collaborates and the other one doesn't, the person that's collaborating might lose, right? Because they're being taken advantage of.
Yep.
But the best thing on it is if both people collaborate.
Absolutely. And so I guess the relevance of that is service. Okay? You're going to get bored of your job at some point if it doesn't have a service aspect to it. Right? So for me, the law was really arguing about money and fighting, and ego was my way of serving the community, right? Trying to leave a better world. So it didn't have to be in that exact career. You're allowed to do, I always tell people, you're allowed to do more than one thing. And service should be at the top of your list. And I promise you that sounds corny. I have no reason to say that. I'm not getting paid by the Service Foundation to say this to you. The most rewarding thing for me is to serve others.
I love that because there is something so special that happens when we serve others rather than being selfish. Because it's so easy to be selfish, right? And just go, okay, me, my life, the things that I'm doing. But when we say you, and we help other people, then we get help too. I mean, like, one of the things that I know that I focus on is how can I serve others all the way? Now, it doesn't mean that we're serving others' ideas that are not good, right? So if somebody was working on a bad idea,
Do you want to join the club?
don't serve that idea, right? But if what they're doing is good and wholesome, good for the world, good for people, see if you can support other people. And then when you need support, you're not doing it for that, of course, but when you need support, those people are going to be there. And even if it's not the same exact people, you're going to have people supporting you. We don't support others so that they support us back, but just because we're about service, people also serve us because of that. Okay, so another question that I had was, what do you recommend to college students, especially those that are in their 20s, what can they do starting now so that they can be preparing even now for a successful future? Do we have any students from here who are in their second year? Okay, how about third year? Okay, more people. Fourth year, last year. Okay, so we have a bunch of third year and seniors. So, but we have younger students too. What do you recommend to this group over here so that they know exactly what to start doing so they can have a successful future?
Okay, so a lot of my stuff so far was like touchy-feely. I'll give you some like actual specific tools that you can use financially that have helped me a lot, and I wish I knew them 10 years ago. So the first is start an LLC of some kind and create it for any lawful purpose. Doesn't matter what it is. Use one of your parents' names, use your favorite number, pick an animal, doesn't matter. You know.
So you're saying have a business,
Start a business,
do your business dealings under.
And don't define it yet. Just Rabbit LLC or
Name it.
Chicken LLC, whatever your favorite animal is. Make an LLC, okay?
Chicken LLC.
Whatever it is, and then start sending invoices to either yourself or a family member and create a history of business transactions for that LLC. Where I'm going with that is, it will create good credit for that business LLC and for whoever's paying the invoice. So you can actually invoice yourself $100 a month and pay that, and your credit will go up and the business credit will go up. Because in the future, that will give you freedom to borrow money. And whatever your entrepreneurial goal is, you're going to need good credit and the ability to borrow. That's my first tip.
Right.
Start building
So
credit.
I guess that having a business is a protector. It
Absolutely.
protects the assets. Like you can, let's say you have a home and it's under your business. I don't know where you live can be part of it. But,
The intellectual property.
LLC, right? Whatever it is, Chicken LLC. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. You're limiting your liability. And that's what it's saying.
Pass the sheet.
okay, so you're saying start being a business person already.
Even if you don't know what that business is going to become, and when you go to apply for credit, the first question I ask you is, how long has your company been in business? You can say, start it now. Start it now. In 5 years, you can say 5 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And actually, a FICO score, there you have personal credit and business credit. Your FICO score is based on paid invoices. So every time your company sends an invoice and that gets paid, your credit score goes up. I wish someone told me that a long time ago.
Yeah, credit score is important. I'm not into borrowing money. That's why I'm probably not in.
Okay, can I follow up then?
Yes.
Only borrow what you can pay back.
Yes.
But by having an LLC, let's say the LLC fails, it's not collectible against you.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely. No, I totally understand what you're saying. It's a huge protection because I know that I have investment properties and they're not under an LLC. And yeah, so now, yeah.
someone slips and falls at your property, or if you get a judgment against you individually, and those companies your name, they can levy you.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Well, we're selling all of them, but still. Okay.
And you can go to like Rocket Lawyer and they can do it for like $400.
While you're looking for the next question I wanted to share, there's a sign-in sheet going around for the Eco Influencers Biz Club at FIU. If you'd like to continue with us, we're going to be doing different events, marketing and executing it's like a business club at the school, animal adoption events, eco markets, and food distribution drives. And so you can all be influencers and join us for the future. Please fill out that sheet. We actually had 21 students register in the class that I spoke. So
yeah, it was a record number of registrations. We have never sent out a piece of paper that came with so many signatures. So because she's like this, that's why it was going to be very successful, because she's like this. Okay, that's an asset right there. Walking asset. Okay, so we're almost done here. I also wanted to ask, okay, so what are your recommendations for students in the room who are interested in applying for law school? What should they do so that they can get into, whether it's a higher law school or any other school?
oh yeah, they have questions.
I think I need to get to the microphone because then we will have to repeat the question. You want to start over?
Anyone can feel free to ask questions. It's open to you all, so take advantage.
I opened an LLC a year ago.
to work there as an OPT. If you don't find any job within the company, yeah, you can do it yourself, and it's like a little
You mean work for yourself?
Yeah, as an OPT.
You're saying that you can open a business and work
For yourself.
for
After you finish
yourself,
school,
and
yeah.
it helps you get your OPT?
Yeah, it does. I already asked my advisor, so maybe
Right.
that wants to come
But
here.
technically, OPT, you can get, I mean, you just have the right to stay in the country for 1 year.
For 1 year, but you can work under your
Oh,
own business,
because
and then
you
you
can
can
work.
apply for the
Oh,
for
wow.
I wanted to apply.
What's OPT?
OPT is like when you're done, let's say with college or, yeah, for international students, 1 year of training, you have the right to stay in the country, but usually, well, sometimes they don't have a job. So they're an OPT, but she's saying you can work for your own company.
You can be self-employed and use that LLC that you open as the business so that you could stay here.
I don't have a job, so I'm just finding something else.
Yeah, so it was easy, right? For $200, you got it done? Yeah, amazing. Great job. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with other students.
Awesome. That was awesome.
That was helpful.
Also, when you have your own business, you deduct expenses from there, right? Like if you buy
Absolutely.
your car
Yeah.
and your car is under your business because you use your car for your business,
Yeah.
clearly that's going to be a deductible, or I'm sure there are some rules around that. But
Yeah, so after the LLC, the second thing would be find a cheap CPA of some kind to do your tax return, and they'll give you advice on deducting expenses. So you can take a portion of your vehicle, right? If you own a car, a portion of that vehicle is a tax write-off. Meals and entertainment, like half your meals are a tax write-off. It's crazy.
meals cost a lot of money, especially if you're taking people out and paying for them.
Your
That's
clients.
why we gotta talk about business, I'm sure you know.
And so that also ties into like prep for law school, right? Because the example this young lady just gave is, imagine she has her own company on her resume. That's something that stands out. When the law schools are looking at that, it stands out. She started her own company.
Well, she's saying that having her own business and working for her business helped so much in terms of getting jobs and, like opportunities, right? That's what you're saying. It was great, yeah. Especially, well, for anybody, especially when you're doing it at a younger age. I mean, it tells the people who are looking at it, this person is serious, they're a business person already, they're entrepreneurial. So,
By the way, all that other stuff I talked about, like, doing art and extra and all that, that also looks good on your resume. So, you can put on there classic pianist or violin player, and then they're like, okay, they're not just a robot.
Are there any questions?
are there any other questions?
So I had a question. I am on my final.
Let me give you this so that.
Thank you. I'm on my final semester here at FIU. After this, I plan on going to pilot school. What do you recommend as far as what steps to take? Any academies you recommend? There's a program in Arizona called Aviate with United, and that's been on my radar. But I live down the street from Tamiami Airport, so I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
So you asked about going to aviation school, which is amazing. I went to Tamiami, that's where I soloed. I went to a little flight school there. I recommend doing the more intense version. I was like a weekend warrior, and it took me a lot longer because I only did it on the weekends, and there was a steep learning curve. I recommend devoting like 6 weeks straight and just doing it 5 times a week. That's my best advice on that. And save up some money.
And he's a pilot instructor, so can they get assistance from pilot instructors also, like teaching it?
Yeah, so go pick a flight school. I think IDF is the best one there in the corner. If you want, get my information from Nali, and I'll connect you with the instructors. And well, I'll talk to you privately about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, do we have any other questions for our guest speaker? Questions about law school, business, entrepreneurial activity, flying?
Did you ever feel that you had a lot of and how did you manage?
And I feel like I have a lot on my plate. corny stuff. Like, my answer to that is corny. No one's life is perfect. Like, everyone has problems, and you're gonna get knocked down, and it's that Rocky quote, about getting back up after you get knocked down. But it's so true. In fact, I think if people haven't had a challenge in their life, that they're kind of shallow. They don't know what it feels like to overcome a challenge. And those challenges become your strength in the long run. They really do. So, gratitude. Earlier I talked about service. Gratitude is a great mindset for when you feel like your plate is full, or you feel like maybe it's unfair, or you have a challenge. I literally wake up and the first words in my mind are the words thank you, right? And that gratitude practice can get you out of those bad situations. Such a feeling for me.
Okay, I totally feel you, because if I was a student, I had a question to ask. That's what I would ask. One thing that I do is, because you sometimes feel like pressure trying to hit. Do you feel that, like pressure from people or just everything, right? Anybody feels that way sometimes? You feel like pressure from the classwork you have, from your job, maybe from parents. Anybody feel like that? Right now, it's just like I feel like that right now. So that happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are feeling the pressure. So the thing is, you got to be a inside-out person rather than an outside-in person. An outside-in person looks at the world around, what's happening is chaotic, there's pressure, and they succumb. But the inside-out person makes sure that they have that peace and joy and everything that they have, everything they need on the inside first. Because when you just go, okay, you know what, I know I can tell, right? Like I feel the pressure. Like this person's asking for this, I have these emails going on, I have these texts going on, and for somebody like you, and I know I'm the same, I know Nadia is the same, for people that are doing multiple different things, they're involved with multiple networks of people requesting things happening, so it can really feel very pressuresome. But if you can go, you know what, I'm not going to be outside in, I'm going to be inside out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be completely chill. In my case, my spiritual life is big. I pray. I do what I need to do so that I'm calm. I don't always get there 100%, but I really work on it. So that I'm calm and peaceful and I'm good inside. I even sometimes stop what I'm doing. If I feel like so much pressure just coming in from multiple places, I just go, okay, you know what? I just need, in my case, I just need to spend time with the Lord. And I just spend time with God and then, do my thing and then come back. And what I find is that when you have that inner peace and joy, and then when you respond, it is so much, life is so beautiful. Life is so beautiful when you have that on the inside, and then, you respond to people more kindly, you're more relaxed, even though things are still trying to, also I wanted to say, because you said, things happen sometimes, right? We all go through tough circumstances, and it's very important to be a resilient person. The more things you get involved in, the more hits you're going to get. If somebody on TV, they get a lot of hits. Somebody that's been on social media, they get a lot of hits. I do a bunch of different things, I get hits. He does, I'm sure Nadia does too, right? So we get hits. But the thing is, when you get hit, somebody makes a disparaging comment, somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, and something gets messed up, are you just going to be like, oh, I'm just so frustrated, or are you going to go, okay, you know what, I'm just going to keep my peace and joy, and I'm going to continue to do what I need to do in my life. Are we really going to respond right? Yes.
I had a question specifically since we started this Eco Influencers Biz Club, and that means that everybody needs to utilize their social media effectively and strategically for good and the greatest. So would you share how everybody here can use each of those platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of that, to fulfill the mission of the organization? And how do you block off all the trolls and all the negativity? Because we were having a conversation about it and you were really good at explaining, you block your gates, right? Protect yourself. And how can you do that in this online world, essentially?
So it's a two-part question. It was, how can this group of students just promote the environment. First of all, do you guys all care about the environment? Like, raise your hand if you care about Earth and the environment and the habitat. It seems like most of you care. Yeah, most of you guys care. So definitely connect with us some way at Eco Planet Earth. We're looking for, you don't have to do a lot of work, it would just be creating awareness as the first step and sharing the posts that we make. We do environmental education. Some people don't even realize how their behavior affects the world around us, but it really is all connected. Can I spend a little bit on the environment? And then okay, so the Earth itself, by the way, this is the only one. We're looking everywhere. There's no other life we have found anywhere in a 13.8 billion light year wide universe. This is it. And this is all we have. The atmosphere here, if the Earth was a basketball, the atmosphere would be a sheet of paper. It's actually very thin. And humans, we can't live in the ocean, we can't live underground, and we can't live above 10,000 feet. So all 8.8 billion of us share a sheet of paper. That's all we have. So everything you do affects everything else. I think one of the best things that ever happened to me at an early age was a beach cleanup. Anybody that does a beach cleanup, yeah, you may not be changing the world by picking up a bag of trash, but you're never going to litter again. You're also probably going to reduce your waste. Like, I have a reusable water bottle, like little things like that. So your daily life, you can make small changes, and it doesn't take everybody doing it perfectly. It just takes all of us doing it imperfectly to really make a difference. So please definitely connect with Knowledge or reach out to you, and whatever you can do to help preserve our planet and leave a better world than we found.
If all of you are using your platforms and trending Save the Earth and putting pressure, then there are going to be legislative changes. The people in power are literally going to push bills.
Can you start over?
I think that we're going to be able to literally trend change as a world. There's only one world ecosystem, and the thing that connects us all is that last time I checked, we're all Earthlings. I know that everyone's looking for artificial intelligence and other planets and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, humans solve problems, and there need to be real leaders that are working together in all of those industries. So with that, the mission of Eco Planet Earth is to unite humanity for children, animals, and Earth. And our vision is to not only come together to solve world problems, but also to develop the next generation of leaders in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And that's you all. You're going to inherit the world and this Earth. So everybody is putting hashtag #EcoPlanetEarth, and everybody is following us on our social media and sharing ways to use your social media appropriately. Hey, corporations will pay you to be influencers for them, right? Because it's now social entrepreneurship. So,
can you mention the legislative changes?
yes, legislative changes. So policies need to pass, right? People in power are